All right, I want to continue talking about eye health today. We're talking about macular degeneration and glaucoma and cataracts. Last program we talked about pigments, colored molecules that live in cells called rods and cones. They're specially located in the central part of the eye, especially in the area called the macula. Rods are, for the most part, involved in light vision. They typically only have one pigment. Cones, on the other hand, have three pigments, and that makes them very important for color vision. It also makes them important for daylight vision, as opposed to the rods, which are more involved in nighttime and also in dim light vision. The rods have traditionally been associated with seeing ghosts and peripheral vision. The Egyptians supposedly studied and taught initiates how to practice seeing peripherally, activating the rods as opposed to the cones in the center of the eye. It was supposed to help initiates observe the visual world. If you look at a tree or you look at a person or a scene and keep your head straight, but attempt to see through your peripheral vision, oftentimes you can see emanations of light coming off of trees or scenes or whatever it is you're looking at. That's called seeing with your rods. It's one way that you can activate the aura. The so-called aura can be observed by activating peripheral vision, and that has to do with using your rods as opposed to your cones. Cones are located in the central part of the eye, actually in the central part of the retina, which is in the back of the eye. And this is where the densest concentrations of pigments are, and this is where eating pigments in foods, fruits and vegetables, can really have a beneficial effect on eye health, especially in the area called the macula, the central part of the eye. Ultimately, these pigments come in through the diet, through vegetables and fruits, especially in the peels. And that makes the macula, in large part, composed of what we eat, or in terms of what we supplement. The macula is technically called the macula lutea, because it's yellow. Lutea means yellow in Latin. It contains large amounts of plant-derived nutrients called lutein, L-U-T-E-I-N. If you look at the Vision FX product from Longevity, you'll find lutein. The fact that lutein is only made by plants underscores the importance of making sure that you're eating lots of plant materials, eating lots of vegetables, and also eating animals that eat those plants, especially fish. Like salmon, for example, can contain significant amounts of lutein. However, as we'll be talking about here in a second, simply by eating lots of lutein and keratin-containing foods, that's not going to necessarily be enough to guarantee that you'll be enjoying the benefits of plant-based nutrients. Lutein is an example of a carotenoid. Carotenoids are incredibly important. They're a class of colored plant substances. They're indispensable for the entire health of the body, for the health of every system in the body, but specifically, carotenoids are important for eye health. There's over 600 different carotenoids found in nature. They're divided into two major classes. The first are called keratines. Most people have heard of beta-carotene. Beta-carotene is the most famous of the keratines. A few of the carotenoids, which tend to absorb blue light, have a special relationship to vitamin A. Beta-carotene is a type of vitamin A. The body breaks up beta-carotene into two parts of vitamin A. Beta-carotene is cleaved or chopped in half by enzymes to release two little sections of vitamin A. And that's one of the reasons why people will sometimes confuse beta-carotene with vitamin A. Yesterday we had a couple of guests on who were saying that you can use beta-carotene instead of vitamin A, or imply that you can use beta-carotene instead of vitamin A. That's not really the case. And that's because not everybody has a well-developed capacity for cleaving that beta-carotene or splitting that beta-carotene to release the vitamin A molecules, especially if you have thyroid problems. If you're dealing with hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's thyroid, any kind of depressed thyroid activity, you may have a problem breaking up beta-carotene into its vitamin A components. Personally, I'm thinking you want to make sure that you're getting both beta-carotene and vitamin A. There's other carotenoids that have vitamin A activity. Beta-carotene is the most famous, but there's 3 or 4 different carotenoids that will give you some vitamin A activity. In any case, beta-carotene and beta-carotene-containing foods can have beneficial effects on eye health. There's another carotenoid called xanthophyll. Xanthophyll tends to be more yellowish. Xanthophyll is actually Greek for yellow leaf. Xanthophyll also can have important benefits for eye health. Essentially, these substances that are so important for for all eye health issues are colored. They're all pigments. When I say pigments are colored, what I'm saying is that pigments absorb light, or rather fractions of light, sections of light, as we said yesterday and the day before, visible light is divided into 7 fractions or 7 sections. We call those 7 fractions of light colors. That's what a color is. It's one of those fractions, one of those 7 fractions that compose visible light. If you ever had a prism, one of those little glass toys when you were a kid, I remember going to the museum when I was a little kid and seeing a prism, and I had to have that little piece of glass, and as soon as I bought that piece of glass, I spent hours playing with it, and I was so amazed. You could hold the thing up into the light, and you get this rainbow effect. When what happens is light goes into the glass that composes the prism, and the glass splits that light up into light's 7 different components, the colors of the rainbow. That's how a rainbow works. Instead of a prism, rainbows are created by droplets of moisture in the air. Droplets of moisture have this prism effect on sunlight. Sunlight comes through these droplets of moisture, and these droplets of moisture split up the sunlight into its 7 fractions, and that's what we call the rainbow. When we talk about eating the rainbow, we talk about eating those 7 fractions that are trapped in various vegetables and peels of fruits. These fractions of light that we observe are what is not absorbed. That's what the fractions of light that we observe are what is reflected by the pigments. If we're seeing blue, that blue is being reflected and all the other colors are absorbed. It's like this whole property of selective absorption and reflection of light, various fractions of light, is what gives pigment colors. When we see a color, blue or red or green or yellow, what we are seeing is the reflected, the non-absorbed fraction of light that's created by the various atomic structures of these pigments. When we talk about atomic structures, don't get all freaked out about the science, the technical side of it. It's just like tinker toys. An atomic structure can be thought of like a tinker toy shape, and the various tinker toy shapes of these pigments is what accounts for whether or not a color or a fraction of light will be reflected or absorbed. When you think of vision, and when you think of the eyes, when you think about pigments, you want to think about fats. This is so important. Pigments are absorbed by the fatty part of the body. That means if you have any liver problems or gallbladder problems or intestinal problems, you're not going to absorb these pigments. We're going to talk about how this relates to eye health, but right now I want to point out that the eyes are made up of a similar tissue to the skin. Everything we say about the eyes also applies to the skin. Skin and eyes are both outside the body. Skin and eyes are both subject to environmental elements. Just like the eyes are subject to high energy ultraviolet radiation from the sun, so is the skin. Macular degeneration is almost like a type of sunburn on the eyes. It's the net effect of the same kind of damage that occurs in the skin when we get a sunburn. So using the same nutrients that protect the skin can also protect the eyes. Using the same nutrients that protect the eyes can also protect the skin. That means eating the rainbow is going to prevent skin damage from the sun, just like it's going to protect you from getting macular degeneration or cataracts or any other kind of eye disease. Using pigments, using colored vegetables, reds, oranges, greens, purples, will keep you from wrinkling. It will keep you from getting age spots. It'll keep you from hyperpigmentation. It'll keep you from skin laxity. All of the signs of aging of the skin that are associated with sun damage can be protected, or you can protect yourself from those by using these kinds of pigments, and also by supporting digestive health, specifically in terms of absorbing fat absorption. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. Our number 855-660-4261. We're coming back at you with more good health information right after this. Don't go away. Reading from the journal Optometry in a study that was published in 2004. Visual function improves with lutein alone or lutein taken with other nutrients, even though further studies are needed with more patients of both genders and for longer periods of time to assess long-term effects of lutein and lutein with a broad spectrum of antioxidants, vitamins, minerals in the treatment of atrophic age-related macular degeneration is advised, and this is from the journal Optometry. April of 2004. The eyes respond to nutrients really, really well, and so does the skin. But here's the rub. Nutrients, antioxidants, pigments, lutein are all fatty. They require an effective fat metabolizing system. Pigments are fatty. That means fat absorption is important. Carotenoids and flavonoids in veggies require bile for absorption, require digestive enzymes for absorption, require a healthy pancreas for absorption, a healthy liver for absorption, stomach acid and a healthy stomach for absorption. If you have any kind of fat malabsorption issues, and that includes, by the way, fatty liver disease, which affects 1/3 of Americans. That's astounding right there. 1 out of 3 Americans has a non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. If you're dealing with any kind of fat malabsorption problem, you are going to be at risk for eye disease, and your eye doctor is not going to tell you about it. The gallbladder plays a really important role in fat absorption and the absorption of pigments and the absorption of fatty vitamins, all that have eye health benefits. Even minerals like zinc and selenium and sulfur, which are important for eye health, require a healthy fat absorption system. The gallbladder plays an important role in storing bile for delivery into the intestine. Bile itself is important and requires cholesterol for its manufacture. In fact, bile can be thought of as a type of cholesterol. That means cholesterol is important for fat absorption. If you are taking a statin drug via this mechanism of depriving yourself of cholesterol and fat absorption, you're at higher risk for cataracts and higher risk for eye disease. Cholesterol is a key player in fat absorption, and cholesterol metabolism shows up in macular degeneration as complexes called drusen, D-R-U-S-E-N, that build up in the eye when you have macular degeneration. And drusen is a classic sign of disrupted cholesterol and fat metabolism. You can make your own pigment-rich foods with vegetables and coconut oils. This is especially important if you're dealing with a fat malabsorption problem. Add fresh coconut oil to veggies, like green veggies, orange veggies, red veggies, and then saute them up. You'll release those pigments into the coconut oil and make it easier for your body to absorb the pigments and the fatty nutrients. All the nutrients in general will be easy to absorb if you loosen them up a little bit with some heat and some coconut oil. Add fresh nutritional oils like Udo's Blend or perhaps grapeseed oil or hemp seed oil to your salads. Fats not only amplify flavors and make salads taste way more delicious, but you'll again help release some of those pigments and fatty nutrients into the oil and make it easier for your body to access them. This is especially true if you're dealing with pancreatic issues, gallbladder issues, liver issues, intestinal issues, stomach issues, or any kind of fat malabsorption issues. You can also use vegetable waters or seaweed waters. That's where you take your vegetables and boil them or let them sit in water and then use that water as a base for perhaps soup or as a base for gravies or even just to drink. Not only is this good for your eyes, but it'll also be good for your skin. As we said, anything that's going to be good for your eyes is also going to be good for your skin. It'll keep your skin from wrinkling. It'll keep your skin from burning. The same way it protects your eyes. Of course, you should also use vegetable juices and vegetable soups. The skin and the eyes especially love reds and oranges and yellows and to a certain extent purples, but especially red, orange, and yellow. Beyond Tangy Tangerine has lots of these pigments. There's another longevity product called Ultimate Youth, which is made with pigments from various fruits and vegetables. Ultimate Youth or Beyond Tangy Tangerine make great nutritional supplements for eye health and for skin health. Another very important strategy for dealing with or for preventing eye disease is to work on stabilizing your blood sugar. The eyes are one of the major targets of sugaring, glycation. Glycation or sugaring is the chemical reaction between sugar and protein, and eye tissue is extremely sensitive to this glycation reaction. Remember, the eyes they're unbelievably nanostructured, nanoarchitecture. They're engineered and fine-tuned with gears and valves and electrical wiring that has the most infinitesimal specifications. The human eye is around the size of a marble, but it's made up of muscles and layers and cells and valves and electrical wiring in the form of cells and nerves. There's at least 30 different working parts in terms of layers and muscles and nerves in the eye itself, in this tiny little space of the eyeball. Relative to most of the other structures in the body, say the skin or even the heart or the liver, the tolerances, the margins for errors and dysfunctions is not very wide in the eye, so damage occurs very, very readily. However, eye cells heal quickly. This is one of the neat things about the body in general, but especially about the eye. Eye cells heal quickly. You can reverse eye disease relatively quickly, much more quickly than you can reverse disease in bigger systems of the body. Diabetes goes hand in hand with eye disease. Why do you think that is? Why do you think eye disease is one of the most common things that occurs to diabetics? It's because the eyes are very, very sensitive to glycation, very, very, very sensitive to sugaring reaction, to high blood sugar. Diabetes goes hand in hand with eye disease, and diabetes is in fact a leading cause of blindness. Keeping your intake of refined sugars low, keeping your intake of flour and cereal low, pasta, potatoes, keeping your intake of anything that messes up your blood sugar, and that includes fruits, by the way, and fruit juices, is advisable if you're dealing with any eye health issues. Use more protein. Use sugar metabolizing nutrients. They may not be associated directly with improvements in eye health, but via this mechanism of helping your body metabolize sugar, they can have some tremendous benefits for improving eye health and preventing or reversing eye disease. If you want a good health strategy for all health conditions, you might want to think about working with blood sugar and working with insulin, as we talk about on this program all the time, but especially if you're dealing with eye health issues. The B vitamins, especially B1, thiamine, B3, niacin, vitamin B12, these are all super important for eye health and for blood sugar control. Make sure you're using your Beyond Tangy Tangerine, chromium, vanadium, and the sweeties. The amino acid taurine, very, very interesting. Not only is it important for sugar metabolism, as it turns out, taurine is also a very important amino acid for the eyes. Taurine is the most electrically active of all the amino acids. That makes it super important for the brain if you're dealing with seizure disorders or bipolar disorders, both of which have an electrical conductivity, are related to defects in electrical conductivity. Taurine is important for the skin. You hardly ever hear about this amino acid for skin health, but taurine may be the most important amino acid for the skin. Taurine is certainly the most important amino acid for eye health. You can make your own taurine. Taurine can be made in the body. It's not technically an essential amino acid, but you got to make sure that you're getting another important amino acid in order to make taurine, and that's the amino acid cysteine. Cysteine is important for eye health on its own, and cysteine can also help you make taurine. Cysteine is found in animal products mostly. Taurine is an important antioxidant as well. In fact, antioxidants and eye health also go hand in hand. There's a really interesting relationship between oxidation and eye disease. So making sure you're getting your antioxidants in addition to your pigments and your taurine and your blood sugar control nutrients is also important. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We're coming back with your phone calls right after this. Our number 855. We are back on The Bright Side, and we have a couple lines open for you at 855-660-4261. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, and 24/7 on our archive page at brightsideben.com, where you'll find a shopping cart with all the longevity products and a Join the Team link that you can click on if you want to start a longevity business, make some money selling longevity products, or get your products at the wholesale price. Of course, you can also enjoy all the tax benefits associated with having your own business for a one-time $10 fee. That's all it's going to cost you, folks, a one-time $10 fee. You can write off your mileage, you can write off your samples, you can write off your products if you give enough of them away. You can write off your home office, all for a one-time $10 fee. Of course, you can also make some money selling the longevity products and also get your products at the wholesale price. You can find out all about it by calling the Brightside Ben phone team at 866-735-2470 or by clicking on the Join the Team link on brightsideben.com. Okay, we are going to continue talking about eye health and using nutritional supplements for eye health. We'll talk a little bit about taurine on our next on our next Brightside episode, and then we'll continue talking about supplements for eye health. If you're interested in purchasing the longevity products, the Vision FX, for eye disease and eye health, you'll get all the nutrients that we're talking about for eye disease, including including vitamin A in the beta carotene form, vitamin C, vitamin E. You'll get zinc and selenium and chromium, and you'll get that all-important lutein pigment, the yellow pigment that's so important for protecting your eyes from macular degeneration, from all eye health issues, and you'll also get the bonus of protecting your skin. For you guys who sunburn readily, the Vision FX can protect your skin from sunburn, and it can also protect your skin from some of the nasty effects associated with photo damage and accelerated aging from the sun. And that's the Vision FX product. You can read about it or find out all about it, or purchase it off my webpage, brightsideben.com, or you can call the Brightside Ben phone team at 866-735-2470, and they can tell you all about it. Okay, 855-660-4261 is our number. Steve, welcome to the Brightside. What's going on, buddy?
Yes, hello, thank you. We had a question about the pancreas. We have a friend who's having problems. It may be inflammation of the pancreas. I'm not certain. We don't have all the information, but we were wondering. He does also smoke, but
well, that's not going to help him.
No.
That's not going to help anyway. For anything really. It's not directly going to affect the pancreas, but it's just a nasty thing to do to your body. The pancreas, I call the pancreas the Mr. Cellophane of the body. It just doesn't get any respect, especially, and that's so unfortunate, especially considering the fact that the pancreas may be the most important gland in the body. It's hard to say what the most important system, gland, structure, organs of the body is, but a case can be made that it's the pancreas. People who have pancreatic cancer don't live very long. It's the most deadly form of cancer, and for good reason. The pancreas is well known for making insulin. Diabetics all know about the pancreas. But what a lot of folks don't realize is the pancreas is the largest, the most important, the most significant enzyme-producing gland in the body, enzyme-producing structure in the body. If you start to get into pancreatic problems, you are going to run into digestive problems, and that means digesting all foods, especially digesting proteins and digesting fats. We've been spending all this time talking about eye health and fatty nutrients for the eyes. Well, if you got a pancreatic issue, you are going to eventually end up with an eye health issue as well, among other things. So what do you do to support a healthy pancreas? Well, there's a lot of things you could do. First of all, you want to work on the digestive system, and that means starting off with chewing your food. The enzyme amylase, the sugar metabolizing enzyme amylase, is found is made by the pancreas, and it's also made by salivary secretion. So by chewing your food really carefully and breaking up sugars and starches, especially if you're eating breads and pastas and potatoes and cereals, you can take some of the load off of the pancreas. You can take some of the load off the amylase that's made by the pancreas, and the pancreas won't have to work as hard. Chew your food, your pancreas won't have to work as hard. Second thing you could do is make sure that you're supporting stomach health, and that means stomach acid especially. If I had any kind of pancreatic problems, I would be making sure that I was using apple cider vinegar after meals, or even getting on a prescription for hydrochloric acid drops. You can also use something called betaine, B-E-T-A-I-N-E, betaine HCl. You'll find some of that in Longevity's Ultimate Enzyme product, or you can just get betaine HCl on its own. When you acidify the stomach correctly, that helps the pancreas do its work correctly. Without having enough stomach acid, the pancreas doesn't get the appropriate signals, and you can end up with an inflamed pancreas. In fact, that's one of the most important causes of an inflamed pancreas, is deficiencies in stomach acid. So working on the stomach is also important. Number one, chewing your food. Number two, working on stomach health, and that means betaine HCl or hydrochloric acid or apple cider vinegar after meals. Then you can also use an enzyme blend called pancreatin. You can get pancreatin at a health food store. Pancreatin is also found in the Longevity product. I believe they put it in the Ultimate Enzymes. The Ultimate Enzymes are just a wonderful all-around product for all digestive health issues. Iodine can also be helpful for the pancreas. You may want to start using some iodine, nascent iodine, or Lugol solution, or iodoral, or have your friend doing that. Kelp and seaweed will also get you a little bit of iodine. And then last but most certainly not least, for all pancreatic health issues, limiting your intake of foods, of sugary foods, breads, pastas, cereals, all the foods that require insulin. That can also have a beneficial effect on the pancreas. So, got lots of strategies for helping with the pancreas. Consider an inflamed pancreas to be an overworked pancreas. And by the time we get into our 40s or 50s, a lot of people have issues with pancreatic inflammation, and that can show up as loose stools or diarrhea, problems with fat absorption, problems with protein absorption, problems with amino acid absorption. It can just cause a whole mess because you're not going to be absorbing your nutrients, number one. And food toxins can build up as food does not get processed in the intestine and in the stomach as effectively. So you can run into some really serious problems once the pancreas starts to go, and an inflamed pancreas is the beginning signs of pancreatic dysfunction. Does that help you, Steve?
Yes, very much. I sure appreciate it.
One last thing, let me tell you. Sometimes bicarbonate, taking a little bit of sodium bicarbonate after meals can help the pancreas as well, especially if once the pancreas is inflamed, pancreas makes bicarbonate for neutralizing food as it leaves the stomach. And if you have a pancreas problem, you may have a bicarbonate problem, and that can also cause digestive issues. So maybe a little bit of sodium bicarbonate an hour or so after meals. Make sure you don't use your sodium bicarbonate with meals, because that can throw off the acid that's required for protein digestion and for the absorption of minerals as well as B vitamins. So do a little bit of bicarbonate, maybe an hour to 2 hours after your meals. That can also help. Thanks so much for your call, Steve, and good luck. And I hope we helped you out. All right, let's see. David in Tennessee, welcome to the bright side. What's going on? David, going once, twice. All right, put David back on hold and take Rod in Florida. What's up, Rod? Welcome to the bright side. Oh, we got to take a break, Rod. So we'll put you back on hold. We'll get you when we come back from our break. We'll get to David as well if he's still there. And then Graziano in California, we'll get you too. Got a line open for you. Our number is 855-660-4261. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the bright side. We'll be back after this.
Are you tired of searching for great talk radio?
Something more important.
Search no more. We are the GCN Radio Network.
All right, we're back on the bright side. Rod in Florida. What's up, my man? You there? Rodney in Florida. Hello, Rod. Rod. Going once, going twice. Rod?
Hi, this is Rod from Florida.
Hey, Rod. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I have a NutriBullet, and I was wondering about the enzymes and whether the high-speed tear down of the nutrients has any effect on the enzymes.
No, it's not going to do that. It won't tear them up. Heat destroys enzymes. You don't have to worry about the NutriBullet. The NutriBullet isn't even that powerful, I don't believe. It's not like a Vitamix or anything, is it?
It's a lower grade Vitamix. It spins around the elements with the blade.
I don't think you have to. You're not going to have to worry about that with the enzymes, and you probably won't even have to worry about it with anything. No problem there.
And how about aloe vera? Is
awesome.
The liquid aloe vera, is it a good supplement to partake of, and is there any side effects to the internal aloe vera?
Negative. Aloe vera is awesome stuff. It's the king of herbs. If you look at aloe vera, a picture of the aloe vera plant, it actually looks like a crown, and it is amazing stuff, topically as well as internally. Great for the digestive system, great for the skin, great for the eyes, great for pretty much everything. It's amazing stuff. Add some aloe and go crazy with it. All right, and you can even grind it up and make yourself a little facial product too if you want to use it for your skin.
Is it more efficient to buy it with a powder and put water into it?
No. It's more efficient, but it's always best to go fresh. Actually, with aloe, the best way to use aloe is to break open the plant and let it react with the air a little bit. When you break open the plant, medicine is produced, and as the inside of the plant, the aloe plant, is exposed to the air, enzymes are created not only enzymes, but various chemicals are created that can have some wonderful health benefits, but it has to react with the air. So you want to break open the plant. Ideally, you want to break open a fresh leaf or a fresh piece of aloe and let it react with the air, and then use that. If for efficiency's sake, the powder is a little bit easier to use, but for potency, personally, I would be using the fresh plant.
If you want to buy it from a commercial entity, is it good to buy juice or the powder if you had the choice?
I would go with the juice. The powder's a little bit processed and they use some heat. Powder should be a last resort. It's a little bit more efficient, as I say. It's easier to travel with. But first, the best way is going to be to use it fresh. The next best way is probably the liquid, and then the least effective way is the powder, although the powder is obviously the easiest to handle and the easiest to travel with. It's much easier to work with, but fresh is always going to be the best, and then liquid's the second best. Okay?
All right.
Thanks so much, Rod from Florida. Have a good weekend. Good to talk to you. Let's go to Graziano in California. Welcome to the bright side, Graziano.
Hello.
Hello, Graziano.
Hey.
What's up?
Hey, man. How's it going?
It's going good. How you doing, man?
Good. Hey, I just had a quick question. I got the survival shield from InfoWars and been using it on my family. Is that safe for the kids too?
You're talking about the iodine, right?
Yeah, the iodine.
Yeah, kids, great for kids, especially babies,
Okay,
especially fetuses, moms who are growing a baby in the womb. Iodine's important for eye health, for brain health. Iodine's important for just all the glands in the body. You know, we talk about iodine for the thyroid gland, but a lot of folks don't realize iodine's important for all the glands, including the pancreas and the adrenal glands and the breasts, which have glandular tissue. Iodine's amazing stuff, and yes, kids need it as much as we do, as much as adults do.
All right, cool. And then second quick question. I have a friend. She's not bright side bent healthy, but she says she's healthy.
Okay.
She works out. She's thin. She does Zumba all the time, runs, but she's got low iron. So
okay.
I don't know. She's asked, like, how do you build up iron in iron?
Well, you don't necessarily. Iron's a tricky one. Iron is one of the metals. A couple days ago, we were talking about metals and these metallic elements. Iron is super important, but it's also super reactive. So you got to be very careful with supplemental iron or with increasing your iron. And most of the time when we have iron problems, or a lot of the time when we have iron problems, it's not because we're not getting enough iron as much as we're not absorbing or utilizing iron. And that has to do more with liver health and digestive health than it has to do with just taking in iron. So the first thing you want to do if you're concerned that you're not, that somehow for whatever reason, I don't know, how does she know that she has an iron problem? Did she have a test?
She probably went to the medical priest.
Yeah, the medical deity, right? But how did he tell? She'd want to know. Usually they'll do a blood test, and that's not a very good indicator of how much iron is actually being used by the body or getting into the cells. So what I'd be doing is I'd be looking for other symptoms. This is always important when it comes to trying to assess a condition in the body. Try to get a bunch of different systems. You got to collect the dots before you can connect the dots. So you want to have a whole bunch of different, different sampling points, a whole bunch of different data points. Most important is always going to be digestive issues, especially around fat absorption when it comes to iron, because the liver is intimately involved. The liver produces substances that control how much iron will be absorbed. The liver is the key structure when it comes to iron metabolism. The intestine's also involved, the stomach is also involved, but the liver is the key iron metabolizing structure, and almost all issues with iron have something to do with liver dysfunction, and considering that 30% of Americans are dealing with liver dysfunction, that's not unusual. So what I would ask your friend to tell me about is her menstrual cycles. That's a really good indicator if there's any kind of liver problems. If she has PMS, or she's missing periods or heavy periods, all those can be an indicator of liver dysfunction. If she has any problems absorbing fats, if she feels uncomfortable after fatty foods, that's another indicator. If she's had her gallbladder removed, that's another red flag for fat absorption problems and iron absorption problems and liver problems. So I would be focusing on all of those issues and trying to correct those issues before I started supplementing with iron. If she wants to get iron in her diet, there's foods that she could use before she should use supplements. Organ meats are the best way to get iron into the system. Liver, especially, is a good source of iron. If she wants to use plant iron, of course, spinach is very well known. Kale also is very well known for being good sources of plant iron. Although animal-based iron products is usually usually the best way to get iron into the system. But I'd be focusing on the liver, the gallbladder, the stomach, and the intestine, most importantly, when it comes to iron issues. Also, if she has blood issues, blood cell issues, that can sometimes be disguised as some kind of iron problem. A lot of times when there's problems with manufacturing blood cells, or if there's an immune problem and blood cells are being destroyed, a lot of times that will look like an iron deficiency. So using the B vitamins, which are your blood vitamins, in addition to being your brain vitamins, can be very important. B12, folic acid, vitamin B1, vitamin B3 also can be very important. Focus number 1 on fat absorption, number 2 on the liver and the pancreas and the stomach and digestive issues, and then number 3 on building, helping the body make strong, healthy blood cells using the B vitamins. And then also vitamin C is also extremely important for improving the absorption of iron. Thanks for your call, Graziano. I hope I helped you out. Anything else you want to ask?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, good deal. All right, George in Canada, welcome to the bright side. Got to go quick, buddy.
Yeah. Hello?
Hello, George. What's up, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm calling for my mom, and she's 86, going on 87, and she has the osteoarthritis, a lot of pains, a lot
Okay, couple things. Now, she's 86, 87, so I'm not going to give you the whole scoop about digestive system and everything else, because that's really, really important.
Yes.
No matter what I tell you to take in terms of foods, if she's not absorbing, she's not making stomach acid or digestive enzymes, she's going to run into a problem. So let me just give you some quick ideas for dealing with osteoarthritis for older folks who aren't necessarily going to be hip to changing their entire life and changing the way they eat and changing their whole lifestyle. Number 1, bone soup. I don't know if you heard me talk about that. Have her drop a chicken into a pot, simmer that chicken, boil the chicken, and then simmer it for 8 to 12, 14 hours until it's cooked and the meat falls off the bones. Add apple cider vinegar to the water. At the end, right before you're ready to eat, maybe a half hour to an hour before you're ready to eat, throw in some veggies, and then that bone soup with the vegetables is should be the main source of nutrients. It could be a critical nutrient or nutritional supplement to take for building joints and for keeping the joints healthy. That should be her main source of nutrition. It's liquid protein. It's got all the factors that are coming in from the cartilage. The cartilage factors help support joint strength. Great for the immune system. It's tasty. Everybody loves chicken soup, and it can a chicken, if she does it correctly, a chicken can last her in terms of 1 or 2 meals a day. In a soup form, it can last her for a week or 2. So bone soup number 1. Make sure she's getting enough essential fatty acids. Get her on the ultimate EFAs. Have her use 3 of them 3 times a day. Make sure she's using them with all her meals. Get her on the ultimate enzymes from Longevity. Have her take the ultimate enzymes with her meals, and that will help her access nutrients from her foods, as well as if she takes the enzymes on an empty stomach, it can have pain relieving and anti-inflammatory benefits too. Have her use the glucogel caps and have her take vitamin C with the glucogel caps and sip on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. She may also want to try 400 international units of vitamin E a day, and it's mixed tocopherol form. Those are just a few things that you can do for osteoarthritis. There's tons of other things, but that ought to get her started. And thanks so much for your call from Canada, George. Appreciate it. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You've been listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We'll be at you on Monday with more information about the eyes. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.